Hi friends, good evening and welcome to SQL Master YouTube channel. I am Manju here and I welcome you all for my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss few more important interview questions and answers here. Okay. Because as nowadays interviewers may ask you different types of questions. Okay. But basic, if you have knowledge, the base knowledge, then you are 100% sure that you are able to crack the interview. By the meanwhile, you must be able to do the queries also. Okay, so I already made very few of very important queries videos. Okay, so in my YouTube channel, so we can refer those videos and 100% sure that you will crack the interviews. And now in this video, I am going to share you with some few more important, very important interview questions and answers. Okay. If you're not subscribed to SQL Master, kindly subscribe to SQL Master YouTube channel so that you are getting so many very important questions and answers of about ETL testing, SQL Informatica videos. Okay, so let us start the video here. I made here some slides. So the question is, explain the process of ETL testing. Okay, so we already cover so much concepts here about ETL testing. Okay, then also we have to recap those things because in some video the concept is different from another video. So for that purpose I am making these questions repeatedly. So ETL testing is made easier when a testing strategy is well defined. Okay, so what is you mean by testing strategy here? That is nothing but the efficiency of testing. Okay, strategy means what? Efficiency of testing. So if that is well defined, then only the ETL testing made easier. The ETL testing process goes through different phases as illustrated below. You can observe here. First phase is business and recruitment requirement understanding. So whenever the project is assigned for you people or the company, okay, so another company is given the new project for your company. There the concept you must understand is about the business, what exactly the business, what exactly the client required, and requirement understanding. Okay, that's what the thing. And the second phase is about test planning and estimation. Okay, so you must have to prepare for test planning. Nothing but what you all have to test and the estimation. Okay, so in what time you have must have to cover those projects and what is the cost of estimation. All those you have to think. As ETL tester, you also have to involve all these in fields. So third phase is about designing test cases and preparing test data. So you must have to design the test cases. You must have to write the test cases, okay, to resolve the client requirement and prepare for test data. You must have to prepare the test data according to your client requirement. Before involving in real-time testing data, you must have to prepare for test data. First, you have to test the test data, and then you have to move for real-time testing. Then the fourth phase is about test execution with bug reporting and closure. Okay, test case what already you have to you prepared with bug reporting and closure. Okay, you must have the knowledge about this thing, and then finally summary report and result analysis. Whatever the you get summary from the testing after project, you prepared all the test cases and executed test cases, and at the end of the project the summary report and test result analysis, you must analyze those things, then only you can become very closure, very best for next projects. Okay, so next is test closure. Okay, this is closure procedure for test cases. So then coming for the analyze business requirements. Okay, those only the here I am providing you in the form of notes. Analyze business requirements means to perform ETL testing effectively, it is crucial to understand and capture the business requirements through the use of test data models, business flow diagrams, reports, etc. Identifying and validating data source. That is nothing but to proceed, it is necessary to identify the source data and perform preliminary checks such as schema checks, table counts, and table validations. The purpose of this is to make sure the ETL process matches the business model specifications. The third one is design test cases and preparing test data. Step 3 includes designing ETL mapping scenarios, developing SQL scripts, and defining transformation rules. Lastly, verifying the documents against business needs to make sure they cater to those needs. As soon as all the test cases have been checked and approved, the pre-execution check is performed. All these steps of our ETL process, namely extracting, transforming, and loading, are covered by the test cases. Next, the test execution with bug reporting and closure. This process continues until the exit criteria, business requirements, have been met. In the previous step, if any defects were found, they were sent to the developer for fixing, after which the retesting was performed. Moreover, regression testing is performed in order to prevent the introduction of new bugs during the fix of an earlier bug. Next, summary report and result analysis. At this step, the tester report is prepared, which lists the test cases and their status, passed or failed. As a result of this report, stakeholders or clients or decision makers will be able to properly maintain the delivery threshold by understand the bug and the result of the testing process. Next one is test closure. Once everything is completed, the reports are closed. So this is the process for ETL testing. Next question is name some tools that are used in ETL. The use of ETL testing tools increases IT productivity and facilitates the process of extracting insights from big data. With the tool, you no longer have to use labor incentives, costly traditional programming methods to extract and process data. Technology evolved over the time, so did solutions. Nowadays, various ways can be used for ETL testing depend on the source data and the environment. There are several ETL vendors that focus on ETL exclusively, such as Informatica. Software vendors like IBM, Oracle, and Microsoft provide other tools as well. Open source ETL tools have also recently emerged that are free to use. The following are some of the ETL software tools to be considered, like Informatica Power Center, the very famous tool, IBM InfoSphere Data Stage, Oracle Data Integrator, that is ODI, Microsoft SQL Server Integration Services, that is SSIS, SAP Data Services, SAS Data Manager, etc. Then open source ETL tools are Talent Open Studio, Pentaho Data Integration, that is PDI, Hadoop, etc. So next question will be like, what are different types of ETL testing? Before you begin the testing process, you need to define the right ETL testing technique. It is important to ensure that the ETL test is performed using right technique and that all stakeholders agree to it. Testing teams members should be familiar with this technique and steps involved in testing. Below are some types of testing techniques that can be used. That is production validation testing, also known as production reconciliation or table balancing. It involves validating data in production systems and comparing it against the source data. Then source to target count testing. This ensures that the number of records loaded into the target is consistent with what is expected. Source to target data testing. The entails ensuring no data is lost, truncated when loading data into warehouse, and that the data values are accurate after transformation. Means there should not be data loss. Then metadata testing, the process of determining whether the source and target systems have the same schema, data types, lengths, indexes, constants, etc. Performing testing, verifying that the data loads into the data warehouse within predefined timelines to ensure speed and scalability. Then data transformation testing. This ensures that the data transformations are completed according to the various business rules and requirements. Then the point is data quality testing. This testing involves checking numbers, dates, nulls, precisions, etc. Testing includes both syntax tests to report invalid characters, incorrect upper lowercase order, etc. and reference tests to check if the data is properly formatted. The next point is data integration testing. In this test, testers ensures the data from various sources have been properly incorporated into target system as well as verifying the threshold values. Then report testing. The test examines the data in a summary report, verifying the layout and functionality and making calculations for subsequent analysis. Then fifth question is, what are the rules and responsibilities of ETL testers? I already covered this question so many times in my almost all videos. Again, I am repeating this question and answer because you must, if you are watching this video, you must be familiar with just by watching the video. Okay, so just go through this step. Don't skip this. Okay. So since ETL testing is so important, ETL testers are in great demand. ETL testers validate data sources, extract data, apply transformation logic, and load data into various the target tables. The following are key responsibilities of an ETL tester. So we just go through this. In-depth knowledge of ETL tools and processes. Performs thorough testing of ETL software. Check the data warehouse test component. Perform the backend data driven test. Design and execute test cases, test plans, test harness, etc. Identifies the problems and suggests the best solutions. Review and approve requirements and design specifications. Writing SQL queries for testing scenarios. Various types of tests should be carried out, including primary keys, defaults, and checks for the other ETL related functionality. Conducts regular quality checks. These all are the ETL tester key responsibilities. Okay. So the next question is, explain the three-layer architecture of ETL cycle. Typically, ETL tool-based data warehouses use staging areas, data integration layers, and access layers to accomplish their work. In general, the architecture has three layers as shown below. So first you can observe here the source applications, like we are fetching the data from source like sales database, customer database, product database, other databases. This is what you're observing here, the staging layer, that is ETL process is happening here. So this is what the data warehouse, that is staging area. Data integration layer, that is move data from staging layer is moving to data warehouse. And here you just come across the access layer, that is nothing but data marts. Okay, so I think you understood by this diagram. So staging layer means in staging layer or source layer, data is stored, that is extracted from the multiple data sources. Data integration layer plays the role of transforming the data from staging layer to the database layer. Access layer, also called a dimension layer, it allows the user to retrieve data from analytical reporting and information retrieval. So the next question is, explain the data mars. We all heard about the data mars. So what is exactly the data mars? So you can see, observe this diagram. Before this diagram, we just have some explanation. An enterprise data warehouse can be divided into subsets, also called data marts, which are focused on a particular business unit or department. Data marts allow selected groups of users to easily access specific data without having to search through an entire data warehouse. Some companies, for example, may have a data mart aligned with purchasing, sales, or inventories as shown below. So you can see here data sources, operational system, and flat files. So by ETL process, those data shifted to the data staging area. Here in staging area, the cleansing of data is happening. That is nothing but removing unwanted data, checking for the null values and duplicated data. All those unwanted data removed here, and data will be get cleansed. Then the data is moving to the data warehouse. Where it is happening, we have to use high level validations like summary data, metadata validation, raw data validation, record count validation, and using minus query you have to ensure that the expected results or data is stored from source to target. In warehouse, we are using here high level validations. From warehouse, the data is moving to the separate consecutive specific departments like purchase department. In purchase department, only related to the purchase department data is moving to purchase department. And for sales departments, the sales reports or data are moving to the sales department. Inventory is also same for that. Then the downstream users get those records from data marts here for analytical purpose, for reporting purpose, and for mining purpose. Okay. So then what is normalization and what are the advantages of it? Normalization in SQL is the process of organizing the data to avoid duplication or redundancy. Some of the advantages are better database organization, more tables with smaller rows, efficient data access, greater flexibility for queries, quickly find the information, easier to implement security, allow easy modification, reduction of redundant and duplicate data, more compact database, ensure consistent data after modification. These all are advantages of normalization. So the next question will be explain different types of normalization. There are many successive levels of normalization. These are called as normal forms. Each consecutive normal form depends on the previous one. The first three normal forms are usually adequate. Normal forms are used to in database tables to remove or decrease duplication. The following are the many forms. First normal form. So when every attribute in a relation is a single valued attribute, it is said to be in the first normal form. The first normal form is broken when a relation has a composite of multi-valued property. And the what about second normal form? A relation is in a second normal form if it meets the first normal form's requirements and does not contain any partial dependencies. In 2NF, a relation has no partial dependence, which means it has no non-prime attribute that is depend on the any suitable subset of any table candidate key. Often, the problem may be solved by setting a single column primary key. And the next one is third normal form. If a relation meets the requirement for the second normal form and there is no transitive dependency, it is said to be in third normal form. So then what is SQL injection? This is very most important question. The SQL injection is a sort of flaw in website and web app code that allows attackers to take control of the backend processes and access, retrieve and delete sensitive data stored in databases. So this is the kind of hacking the data. In this approach, the malicious SQL statements are entered into the database entry field and the database becomes exposed to an attacker once they are executed. By utilizing the data-driven apps, this strategy is widely utilized to get access to sensitive data and execute administrative tasks on the database. SQLI is attack is another name for it. The following are the some of the examples for SQL injection. Getting access to secret data in order to change a SQL query to acquire the desired results. Union attacks are designed to steal the data from several database tables. Examine the database to get information about the database's version and structure. So next question is what is ACID property in a database? The ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. It is used to ensure that the data transactions are processed reliably in database systems. Atomicity means refers to the transactions that are completely done or failed, where the transaction refers to a single logical operation of data. It means if one part of any transaction fails, the entire transaction fails and the database state is left unchanged. And the consistency means ensures that the data must meet all the validation rules. In simple words, you can say that your transaction never leaves the database without completing its state. The next one is isolation. The main goal of isolation is concurrency control. The next point is durability. Durability means that if a transaction is being committed, it will occur whatever may come in between, such as power loss, crash, or any sort of error. So the next question will be what is subquery SQL? A subquery in SQL is inside the query. Okay, where a query is defined to retrieve data or information back from the database. In subquery, a outer query is called as main query, whereas inner query is called as subquery. Subqueries are always executed first, and the result of subquery is passed on to the main query. It can be nested inside the select, update, or any other query. A subquery can also use any comparison operators such as greater than, lesser than, or equal to. What are the different types of subquery? There are two types of subquery, namely correlated and non-correlated. Correlated subquery means these are queries which select the data from table referenced in the outer query. It is not considered as an independent query as it refers to the another table and refers the column in a table. The non-correlated subquery means it is an independent query where the outputs of subquery is substituted in the main subquery. So this main query. Okay, so this is what the difference. The next question is, what is need of merge statement? Okay, so the statement allows conditional update or insertion of data into table. It performs an update if a row exists or insert if a row does not exist. So this is what the importance of merge statement. So next question is like, what do you mean by recursive stored procedure? Recursive stored procedure refers to stored procedure which calls by itself until it reaches some boundary condition. This recursive function or procedure helps to programmers to use some same set of code n numbers of times. So what is clause in SQL? SQL clause helps to limit the result set by providing the condition to the query. The clause helps to filter the rows from entire set of records. For example, where having clause. So next one is, what are the aggregate and scalar functions? Aggregate functions are used to evaluate mathematical calculations and return a single value. These calculations are done from the columns in a table. For example, max, count of, or calculated with respect to numeric. Scalar functions return a single value based on the input value. For example, ucase and now are calculated with respect to string. Let's move to the next question. So how can you fetch alternate records from a table? You can fetch alternate records, that is both odd and even numbers. For example, to display even numbers, use the following command. That is what the command is listed here. Select the student ID from within a bracket parenthesis, select row number, comma, student ID from student where mod of row number, comma, 2 is equal to 0. Now display odd numbers. Select student ID from within a parenthesis, select row number, comma, student ID from student where mod of row number, comma, 2 is equal to 1. Mod means here the division. Okay, you can understand by this query. So name the operator which is used in a query for pattern matching. Like operator is used for pattern matching and it can be used as follows. That is percentage. It matches to 0 or more characters. For example, select star from students where the student name like a percentage within a single quote. And underscore, it matches exactly one character. For example, still select star from student where student name like within a quotation abc underscore. So what is a view? A view is a virtual table which consists of subset of data contained in a table. Since views are not present, it takes less space to store. View can have a data of one or more tables combined and it depends on the relationship. Okay, then the next question is, what are views used for? What is the use of views? A views refers to a logical snapshot based on the table or another view. It is used for following reasons: restricting access of data, making complex queries simple, ensuring data independence, providing different views the same data for security. So these are some very important questions and answers, friends, what I covered here in this video. Kindly go through this video and watch complete video so you will get many more knowledge about SQL and ETL testing concepts. Okay, so I hope that you understood this video completely. So I will be with you with some more interesting concepts or queries or informatica videos. So thank you, friends. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Take care.